Today we are ranking the PlayStation published video games. From Ratchet and Clank to God of War Ragnarok. Which game is going to come out on top? Let's find out on the Late Night Gamer podcast. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Late Night Gamer podcast. I'm your host Welchy, joined as always by my co-hosts Mr. 10 out of 10, Stephen.
Hello everybody, lovely to be back as always, and can't wait to find out which PlayStation exclusive ranks as the very best.
And also returning after his Pokemon Pocopia review earlier this week, is the best Mario Kart player I know, Jack.
Whoa!
Thank you. Hi everyone, thank you for having me back.
Did you change that in the last podcast then?
It wasn't just that one. It was
It's been going for two now.
Whenever you was last here, what was that? That would have been
What was
one
the
of
last one we done?
Oh god, I can't remember now. But it was because there was evidence on Twitch that he beat me on Mario Kart. So it felt a bit silly saying he was the second best when he clearly beat me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, welcome everyone. We today, as you can see on the screen and as the title suggests, we are ranking the PlayStation, or some of the PlayStation published games. What I have done is collected 15 different titles of games that were published by PlayStation at the time. They may have had other versions that aren't. And what we're going to do is rank them like we do on tier listing. But we're going to have a few set rules on how we do this as well. So 15 games, you can see them there. I'll go through them quickly. So we've got Astrobot, The Last of Us, God of War Ragnarok. And I will say I've tried to do, and I have done, one game per franchise. Uncharted 4, Demon's Souls, Bloodborne, Infamous, Ratchet and Clank, Resistance 3, Killzone 2, Horizon Forbidden West, Ghost of Tsushima, Until Dawn, Days Gone, and Returnal. Now, I don't mind how we approach this. I think we should do them as singular entities as much as we can. If we want to do them as franchises, I guess it makes it more difficult because some of these games have had one game, like Bloodborne. So it's a bit unfair to say, oh, we need to put this higher because as a collective it's done better. But I think what I've done is picked the most popular game. Maybe you could argue Ghost of Yotei is probably more popular than Tsushima. But in general, they're probably the best that their franchise has to offer anyway, if not close to it. The rules around this, though, is obviously S tier being the highest of the highest, the ultimate PlayStation franchise. A tier, the second, B, C, D. We can only have one game in the S tier ranking. We can only have two in the A tier. 3 in the B, 4 in the C, 5 in the D. That's what she said. So that is the rules, which means we've got to be pretty harsh here because obviously there's a lot of games here that we love.
Yeah.
We might want them to be in certain tiers, and we can't do that because we're restricted to one at the top and go an extra one as we go down. So
yeah,
I don't know where we want to start. Do we want to start by chucking in some of the D's? So that's what she said, to get rid of them, or do we want to start from the top?
This is like reminding me of, on like the Saturday Social where they have like the whiteboard. Someone needs to get like the whiteboard and then you put like the magnets on of these tier lists, and then there's going to be people sitting here and going, how can you not have this in here or there? Because I'm one of them when you watch those. So yeah, we'll try our best to be as reasonable as possible. I think what makes it difficult is because we've got so much love to these sort of games, we've got to be harsh but also have objectivity in terms of where we place them.
And we all have slightly different appreciations for these games.
Yeah.
For example, Stephen, you've not played the God of War games.
No.
Jack really likes the Souls-like games like Demon's Souls and Bloodborne's. I don't know if either of you two have played Infamous.
No.
Have you played it?
I definitely tried a little bit, when I had my PS3.
Yeah, but not. I've loved all the Infamous games, so I've got a much more affinity for those games. So that kind of thing where we're all going to be batting for certain, like slightly different games. There's going to be someone here which maybe none of us will really bat for. Obviously, didn't even acknowledge him. Andy's not here tonight. He's not feeling 100%. So he is not here. He has texted me with his S tier game, and that's it. So obviously, if Andy was here as well, it'd be even tighter because he would bat for certain games and not others. I think we can get some quick ones on the D list just to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Days Gone. Has anyone played Days Gone? I've not played Days Gone.
I haven't played it.
No, my friend, our friend James, plays it quite a lot, and he says it's really good. He says it's a very long game. He's trying to go for platinum. I've heard good things about it, but again, it's just because of the fact that none of us have played it.
Yeah.
It might be one that if we did, we'd put it higher.
Yeah.
But my caveat to kind of defend this is that even if a game is sitting in D tier, it doesn't mean that it's a bad game. I think all of these games,
especially the way we've done it. If we were saying
Yeah.
you can put as many as you want in each tier, then yes, you're saying anything in D is shit. But what we're
Yeah.
saying is no, out of these 15, it's in the bottom 5, basically.
yeah. And it could be for a multitude of reasons. Like, I'm going to look at some of the games that I haven't played, but looked at their popularity, their influence, their legacy, as well as, and I'll still be looking at that for games that I've played. But I
Yeah.
also think that that's quite important to consider when you're discussing this. I feel like Days Gone, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't have the sort of legacy that some of the other games have as well.
It's interesting because this is actually a game which the fans of Days Gone are desperate for a sequel.
Yeah.
But Sony is just outright saying, nah, you're not getting it. If you wanted a sequel, you should have bought it at a time. This is one of those games which has got more popular as time's gone on.
Yeah.
It's come free on PlayStation Plus, or it's been on sale, and people have gone, actually, you know what, I'll try it now. And I'm like, oh my God, it's actually really good. But
aged like a fine wine.
Yeah, no one got it at launch. Well, I say no one, obviously people did, but it didn't sell like they wanted it to. So then PlayStation like, well, why are we going to invest money into something when none of you fuckers bought it the first time?
And it's a big ass game. It's not like it's a niche sort of 10 to 12 hour story. It's a massive, expansive world.
Yeah.
So that's also why I think it probably sits comfortably that even if we had played it, because it just doesn't hit the same sort of level across those factors than some of the other games on the list.
That was probably the easiest one. Okay, another easy one. Resistance 3. Anyone?
Never played it, but
No.
From what I can just remember of them as younger, it was just Sony's attempt to try to do Halo, weren't it, really?
Yeah, you could argue that and Killzone, but Killzone was a much more successful attempt at that. Resistance 3 is a game that I always wanted to play. I just never did. It's one of those games I feel like I missed out on because I think the multiplayer was like 100 players or something. It always sounded cool, just never got around to it.
Did it come out in the PS3 era?
Yeah, PS3, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, with me being on Xbox, like, I don't really have any affiliation towards this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just on that alone, I can't really place it any higher.
The only one here, other than that I think is a relatively easy one to place is maybe Returnal here. Because, Stephen, obviously, you didn't get on that well with it, with the saving system and stuff. Jack, what's your history of Returnal? Have you ever played it?
Haven't played it.
I played a fair few hours of it, and I enjoyed what I played. It's just too difficult for me at the time, and I wanted to play other things. It's a good game. It's a very good game there, and I'm excited for Saros in a month's time, whatever it is. I think looking at the rest of these here, it's quite easy to argue they're all deserving to be higher than Returnal.
I think and I've said it many times on the podcast, but I do want to go back and face Returnal again. I mean, when it launched and I got it on launch day, I felt that they made such a massive mistake in the respect that they expected you to essentially keep your PlayStation on while you complete the game. That was literally the guidance that Housemarque came out publicly and Sony backed. And it's just nonsensical that in 2021... So they came out because people were saying that, well, we want to complete the game. They said, well, the best way of doing that is to do it in one go and keep your PlayStation on and come back the next day.
Yeah.
And
it's a roguelike game, Jack. So you had to complete a run. And if you turned at the time, if you turned it off, you started back at the beginning. And it's a tough game. It's not like it's not like runs are quick. They're not like I can't think of like Hades. You can probably finish a run in what? 2 hours. This is a long slog.
I got it says like less than 1 hour play. I got pretty much, I think, like 50 minutes into that run and was managing it, thinking graphically it looked great. The DualSense was at the time like unparalleled. It was probably the best game at that point that was utilizing the DualSense for a roguelike shooter. But once I died, it then became a vicious cycle that it just got harder and harder. And that compiled with the fact that there was no save point, I was like, fuck this for a laugh. Like this is not the game that I've signed up for. My only thing that you could argue maybe pushing it into potentially C is that they have made a lot of improvements apparently to the save files, and they have made it easier. But I still think it'd be one of those games that would be a real challenge even now to get through and persevere with. I feel like that's with Saros. I'm waiting to hear what you guys say about it to then prompt me and giving it a go.
I think the Saros game will launch with a save system because they know.
Yeah, they won't make the same mistake as last time. I do think it's one that it hovers between D and C, but I can't put it in C because I've not gone back to revisit neither of yourselves. So, but I think it's important to provide that context. There might be people sitting going, right, Return should be like towards A and B because of how good it is. Because I know that from the popularity sake, it is massive.
So the rest of these should be much more difficult.
Yes.
Jack.
Yes.
Have you beaten and played both Demon's Souls and Bloodborne?
No, I haven't beaten either of them, but I've played both of them.
Okay. Is there one of those two you think is better than the other? I think the general consensus is Bloodborne, yeah?
Bloodborne's way better than Demon's Souls.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to be honest, even though Demon's Souls, it's a remake by a different company, isn't it? Of
Bluepoint, yeah, but even the original Demon's Souls was PlayStation exclusive.
But that was From Software, though, wasn't it?
Yes, the original, yeah.
Yeah. And then, so there's a remake from them. I think if you include it with all the From Software games, it's
the weakest.
It's probably the lowest. Yeah, definitely. And that's not even this saying it's a bad game. It's still a good game. It's just a remake of an old game, and it's they've obviously learned from new iterations to improve their games. So I'd say that's fine being in the bottom.
Okay, that's good. That then leaves us with one space left in that tier, which, looking at that, I worry that you two are going to ask me to put Killzone in there, and I don't want to. Maybe we come back to D tier. There's one left.
Again, with Demon's Souls, Bloodborne, and Killzone, I've not played any of those three, so it's difficult for me. I know that Bloodborne and Killzone, I know is massive, and people have said to me that was an unbelievable game. So I don't think Killzone probably should be in D. I think it should be higher, and I haven't played it, but just from what I've heard, I think people would slaughter us if we put that.
But then looking at the rock we've got left, it might have to go in, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it may. I think we can park that for the moment.
Yeah,
I realize we haven't got Motorstorm.
Yeah, we haven't got any racing games here. We haven't got Gran Turismo. That's a good point.
You've done my racing dirty.
No, Jack and Dax. So there's a lot here. We've tried to select as many of the popular ones as we can.
Killzone's a hard one for me. I could probably put it in the bottom if I'm honest, only because it's one of them games that when I played when I was younger, I was literally just doing like multiplayer games. I wasn't really
Killzone 2 had good
multiplayer. Single player stuff. Oh no, that's what I'm saying. It had great multiplayer, but like to talk about the game as a whole, I never really played anything other than fighting against bots on it. But I love that, so I can't really I can't really speak on it in the game as a whole. So I'd probably be happy putting Killzone. It is 2, isn't it?
Yeah, I picked Killzone 2 because it's my favourite, and I think
I prefer 2 over 3.
Yeah, I loved Killzone 2. Like the multiplayer, but in particular, I played the shit out of. The campaign was fine; it was good, and that's what worries me here. Is looking at everything else here. We're looking at the top quality. You know what? Fuck it. It's going in bottom.
I'd probably put Killzone there,
yeah. If you're saying, Welchy, that the campaign isn't on the same level as some of the other campaigns we've got,
for example, I couldn't tell you much about it. Like I just remember enjoying it, but there's nothing.
Yeah. So you say it's the multiplayer that really shines through in Killzone 2.
I love the multiplayer, and these 5 here in no particular order, by the way. I'm not like saying I can't be able to put them in an order. We don't need to spend time ordering these 5. We're just saying that all of these are in D in no particular order. Because otherwise I would have Killzone 2 probably top of that list. Okay, now it gets interesting then, because we were left with what, 4, 7, 10 games, of which we would probably all consider, even if we haven't all played all of them, we know that these are 10 fantastic games.
Absolutely.
I know there are people that would put Bloodborne in A or S. I know there are people that would put Uncharted in A or S. There's obviously a lot of people that would put the God of Wars, The Last of Us, is the Horizons, Ghost of Tsushima, sorry. It's going to be tough. What is the first game we put in C tier, though? Is there a game here that doesn't quite reach those heights?
I would I love Until Dawn. I'm trying to work out whether we put that in C or B, because Until Dawn isn't at the same level as any of those games that you've outlined. It's a fantastic game in terms of the story driven, even graphically. Before it got its upgrade, it looked so visually stunning, but I don't think it quite has the same gravitas as
The rest.
some of those other games. Just personally for me, I kind of feel like I'm leaning more towards B, but then there's better games. There are better games from there. So maybe putting that in C is a good suggestion. But unless you guys think
would you agree with
could
that,
go
Jack?
higher.
I'm pretty happy with it going into C. I think yeah, it's one. I mean, it's not even. I can't really say anything bad about the game. It's a great game, but I think just gameplay wise, it's just limited by the type of game that it is.
Yeah.
And compared to the other games that let you do a lot more. But I will say one thing about it: of every game that is on there, I can remember when Until Dawn first came out, and watching YouTubers and streamers play that game
It was
was
a
one of the
moment, wasn't it?
funny. It was one of the funniest times in the world. Just watching people fuck up and choose the wrong decisions, especially at the end with like the light bulb, and they just blow up the whole house, and like everyone's dead. And they're just like the shocked look on some people's faces with the decisions on that game. So like for content wise, for people making it, that game would have been top of the list. But
100%.
I think C's pretty. I'm pretty happy with that.
I wish I was kind of streaming that when that happened, because I was one of those unfortunate ones that I did fuck up at the very end. I got it's only after when I Google, I was like, what was the worst ending? And when I read up, I was like, oh no, that was the ending I got, because none of mine survived. And then I remember when Andy was playing it, he was like really smug when I got the good ending, and I was like, fuck off. But yeah, generally, and I love it. And I also think that when I was mentioning it earlier about the legacy, Until Dawn does have that in terms of that. It has a legacy, longevity. It's influenced other horror survival games in that nature. It's got a film as well. So in terms of doing all of those other things, it ticks all of those boxes. I do agree with what you just said as well, Joe. I feel like it's very much sort of the gameplay restricts you in a way, but also the story is great, but there's just better stories. And there's those moments in those other games that we've got remain where those moments will stay with me until the end of like my gaming career. Like there's moments in those games where I remember how I felt, how just all of your senses are heightened. And the only thing Until Dawn really is the level of fear and terror that it brings. There's a couple of twists that I remember quite vividly, but I just don't think that it's to that same level.
And they produced a shit movie as well of it, so.
Gosh, I know you didn't like the movie, Welchy.
Okay, we've got 3 spaces left on C. I think it hurts my heart, but I think we have to put Infamous there. I love the Infamous games so much. Whenever I think about buying a PlayStation 3, which is I do like every month, never do it, never actually buy it, but I actually always think about it.
You will one day.
I will one day, and it's the first game that comes to my head in games. In terms of games I want to replay, it's Infamous. I love it so much, but I know for a fact that it's not as good as Uncharted, God of War, Last of Us, Astro Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
for sure. Which I'm kind of considering probably the top 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to put it in C. I know you two don't have the affiliation with it either. It hurts me, but I'll accept it. Where are we putting Bloodborne? Because I'm not a Souls fan, but I can truly appreciate how good Bloodborne is as a Souls game.
Yeah, I can.
When I have played it, and it's probably the one I've probably played the most other than Lies of P, it's the atmosphere in that game is incredible. Some of the enemy designs are incredible. The gameplay is incredible. It's just it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
So even though in my personal taste I wouldn't have it in like high, I'm happy to have it higher than I would have it because I can appreciate it. Where obviously I know, Stephen, it's not for you either. Jack, whereabouts are you thinking it should be?
I would put it in B or A probably, but I also completely understand if it went in C, because like after being someone who never played a Soulsborne, I played Elden Ring and then just started making my way through a lot of the Souls games.
Yeah,
I can understand that you have to. I mean, I know you know you won't know if you like it until you try it, but you have to have a sort of inkling and within like the first hours of trying a Souls game that you like that kind of gameplay. So I can understand why it would go in at like C, but I would probably put it at B because looking at that list, like I'm not a huge fan of Horizon games. I tried. I like the gameplay and that. I didn't really like the robots.
okay.
I don't
Me and
don't
Steve are
really
going to
care for
argue
the
with that one.
robots at all.
Okay, I'll put Bloodborne in B. We can always move these around, by the way, so it's not like it's set in stone.
I would say I 100% echo what you've just said, Welchy. It's not my game. I don't like those kind of games. I wouldn't touch Bloodborne. But from what I've heard, also people say like the audio and visual levels are just like stunning. And what that was achieved back when did it even come out?
2015.
20. So it was already pushing what that 7th generation could do. I mean, is it that people are saying that they want a PS5 version?
Everyone wants a
of
remaster of this
Bloodborne?
game, 60 frames per second version.
Which I think would probably break the internet if
a million percent
were to come out. So just that alone, I'm happy for it to be in B.
It's never going to happen, by the way, because Sony just got rid of Bluepoint Studios, and it came out that they actually were pushing for a remaster, and Sony said yes, but From Software said no. So From Software are just against the idea of someone remastering it, unless I guess they do it themselves. But I think if we're ever getting one, not for a very, very long time, unfortunately.
I've just looked at what is remaining, and this is now where it gets insanely difficult.
Obviously, I picked the original Ratchet and Clank as my personal favorite, and a lot of people's personal favorites. But I will accept, because I don't know if Stephen, you played the original. Obviously, the remake isn't a like for like, but consider that as close to a like for like as you can. So when I say remake, it's the 2016, 2017 version.
I think 2018. Was it 2018?
I feel like it's 16 or 17. I feel like it's 16.
It came out around the same time as the movie, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Which I can't remember when that was. I mean, for me, I played obviously the original Ratchet and Clank on PS2. I mean, the problem with it is if you're talking about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which in terms of visually and how it felt, it's the best, but nothing can beat that first encounter with Ratchet all those years ago. And even now, you play that, it does hold up today, I think. I've played it in 2022, and I remember thinking, this literally, even though graphically it's not the best, some games don't stand the test of time. You revisit them many years later and you're like, wow, it was because I was a kid or just because I was enjoying this aspect. The entire game, still to this day, is a masterpiece. Completely I'm happy for it to be here. My problem is, where on earth does it go?
Jack, obviously, I know you love Ratchet and Clank as well. Man, it's tough because...
But then, like, if I was doing this list, I would have a Crash game in over instead of Ratchet and Clank.
Yes, and I guess Crash was Naughty Dog.
Because, like...
we could always take out we could always take out Resistance and put in a Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, fair point. Like, no, but like just saying, like my point on Ratchet and Clank is like, I think they are great games, but of those earlier, like PS1, PS2 games, I think I always preferred Crash over like Ratchet and that.
Really?
So I don't think I could put it. I don't think I could put it in
Wow.
A.
I think my issue with Crash, and I love Crash, I just think it's so hard. That's my issue. Where Ratchet, I found easier to. Yeah, I know. Get good kid. Generally, though, like the original Crash Bandicoot is fucking horrendously difficult. I mean, I don't think I played it. I might have played it on PS like 2, but when I did the remaster, like even that now is horrendously hard. It's great because it's a challenge, but like I speak to a lot of people who they either had to get someone to help them complete the game or they just gave up in terms of doing all of them. Where with Ratchet and Clank, it's a little bit easier. And I'm not saying that should be that we disregard Crash as a result of that, but I think the story of Ratchet and Clank is better than the story of Crash.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough. And like you said, they're two different games anyway. One's more of a regular platformer, isn't it? And then Ratchet and Clank's more like regular action adventure with like there's little bits of platforming, but
they're both sort of, they sit sort of on the platform table, but one is much more at the head of the table, where Ratchet kind of dips in and out is where the key difference is. But I know that Crash obviously is massive, and obviously because it came from Naughty Dog. I don't actually think you could put Crash in D. That's the problem.
No, you can't put Crash in D. So now we've made this much more fucking difficult. Because I agree, I don't even think of Crash Bandicoot for some reason. Crash is in. It can't go in D. So are we moving Until Dawn or Infamous? You're going to hurt my heart, aren't you?
I would probably say move Infamous for it.
Oh, man. That makes me...
just because of, again, I just think Until Dawn is a better game.
I'd agree. I think Until Dawn's got a bigger cultural impact as well. It's like everyone can remember that era when it came out, just because how funny it was watching people play.
I've been outnumbered.
I think it wins on both fronts.
Man, that really hurts me. You two are never coming back.
Your two favourite PS3 games in the bottom.
Yeah, literally.
What I will say, there's still two amazing games. They just sit at the bottom
tier. Yeah. They would both be the top of the tier.
If it was Little Big Planet in the bottom, I'd snap my monitor in half.
Yeah, there's a lot of games we're actually missing.
Sackboy's a great shout, yeah.
Because we could always take out Days Gone. Anyway, no, we'll stick with it now. Crash Bandicoot has to be in there.
Gonna make a whole new tier
list. Just keep adding different games.
That's tough. Okay, I think
I'd put. See, now you've moved that. I'd do Ratchet C, Crash B. I think that's fair. But then you would probably say the other way around.
I would say the other way around.
I'd say the other way around. I'd go Ratchet B and then
both
Crash
in
C.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Yeah. I'd probably put Horizon in C.
That's a conversation to be had. Let's put Crash. No, because there's still a space to be had in there. So let's put those two there. For now. Let's decide where Ghost goes. And we're talking Ghost.
So we're talking about
Ghost of
Tsushima, not Ghost of Yotei.
Yeah.
Which they're both incredible games.
I think it's better than Yotei.
Yeah, you're on that side. Me and Stephen are on the Yotei side.
You both think Yotei's better?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. I think Yotei.
I love both.
When I say that, I would probably have given Ghost of Tsushima like a 9.5. I gave Yotei a 10. That's kind of the level for me. I just think the way that the difference for me with Ghost of Yotei is that it is so seamless with all of the side stuff. Where Ghost of Tsushima, for me, I was focusing on all of the main stuff, and then I want to go back and do more of the side stuff. But Ghost of Yotei basically forced me and distracted me from my path because of how immersive it was and how seamless, and that was a big difference. I think we mentioned it when we reviewed Ghost of Yotei that they just mastered that, and visually it looked absolutely stunning. The gameplay was a little bit more seamless than Tsushima, but we're talking about like a hairline minuscule difference between the two.
I think we can all agree it's not S tier.
No.
There's only There's only two spots in A. So I think we can all agree it's not A.
I think it's better than Horizon. I think it's better than Astrobot, but I don't think it's better than the other three.
Ooh. What? Do you know what I would say? I would agree.
I'm not finishing. I'll leave now if you two are going to say you want Astrobot S. I'm going to leave now.
No, but Astronaut's incredible. Well, that's another conversation we have. What I would say is I do agree. I think Ghost is a superior game to the Horizon games for sure. I would definitely say that. I love the Horizon games, but I would say Ghost Eclipse is it. And again, it sounds like I'm criticizing Horizon. I'm not. We're talking about some of the greatest games that I've ever played that are remaining on this list that we've got.
I'm stuck on that. I kind of consider Tsushima and Horizon games almost parallel to each other.
Do you think they're on par? But if I asked you then, Welchy, what one, if you could only play one, what would you choose?
That's such a tough question.
There's not much in it.
I personally,
just to go.
If you was to say, I know we've just had Yotes, that's kind of unfair. But if you was to say you can have one more sequel to one of these games, I'm saying Horizon.
I think, but what makes it difficult, I would say yes.
That's a trilogy
Horizon.
of games, whereas the Ghost games are individual stories, aren't they?
Yeah.
If I could get an actual sequel to Tsushima, I'd be happier. I wanted that story to continue so bad.
I think that will be next, to be fair. I mean, we'll have to wait a while for that, but I'm pretty sure that will be their next moment. The other thing, speaking of Horizon, which is probably where me and you are going to differ on this, you've got Horizon Forbidden West, where I prefer Horizon Zero Dawn.
No, Forbidden West is... I know you love the first one. Everyone loves the first one.
I've only played the first one.
You can pick either. Forbidden West, you get to fly. Man, you get to fly.
That is true. you get that at the very end of the game, though.
Yeah, but I got the platinum, so I had it for ages.
Yeah, good point. No, that is. I mean, again, that's another one where you're talking about one. I think I gave Horizon 2 9.5, and I gave Zero Dawn a 10. We're still talking about insane. So,
okay, right. You're both saying I'm being outnumbered. You both prefer Ghost. I'm going to put Horizon in C. Which would then, I think we'd all agree, Ghost would go B and no higher.
So we can have, what is it, 3 in B?
3 in B. So one of these 4 goes in B.
I think Astrobot's got to be B. With them 3 left. Or Uncharted.
I think if we're being fair, we're picking between Astrobot and Uncharted here.
Can I also just add a slight point? I don't quite like the idea of Horizon sitting in C.
Because I actually think Bloodborne should be.
I think Bloodborne should go into C. I think Horizon should go into B.
I'm fine with that. I said my points on Bloodborne earlier. I think it's a B-A game, but I understand it's games like Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, all of them. You don't have to enjoy them type of games to enjoy that game. But Bloodborne, you have to like Soul games. You're not going to have a random person pick it up and actually enjoy it.
Because
I'm fine with that.
If for whatever reason this video goes viral, we're going to get so much hate for this. So much hate going Bloodborne and C.
I was looking at
that's why I've had to go in my defense.
Yeah.
Every time.
I think though when I was looking at that, just I was like, that's essentially saying that Until Dawn and Horizon are on the same, but and they're just not.
They just have to be in the same category. It doesn't mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean though.
But what I also like is the fact that we're doing it collectively, but both Horizon and Ghost have had 2 entries. Both games I've given 9.5 and 10, and then 9.5 and 10. So and although I would lean if I could only play one, it would be Ghost.
And I've put both your 9.5s in here.
Yeah, but also for the fact of when you were talking about a sequel, would I rather have a sequel to Horizon? Yes, because of the way that number 2 ends and to continue Aloy's story. Also, I have to say that Aloy is a fantastic protagonist. So if you then said, if you've got the protagonist from Ghost of Tsushima or Aloy from Horizon, that's when it becomes really difficult because they're 2 incredible, and obviously Jim Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima as well.
Yeah.
So I think they both sit in B. I'm happy with that.
I actually liked the bit of story and all the characters I played in Horizon. I just didn't gel with robots. I don't know what it is.
Oh, the robots were
That's interesting because I think that's
I think
a big
I
sell
think
to
they're
me.
cool. I think I think they're all cool in that, but I don't know. I wasn't that excited by robots, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So Ragnarok and Last of Us are definitely not B tier. Like, there's just no way Last of Us is, and there's no way God of War is. So it's Uncharted or Astrobot.
Okay, I'm not even gonna argue against Astrobot because you two will just fucking be at my front door with a
No,
pitchfork and a flame.
we're talking.
I actually think it's a very good game. I think
So is Uncharted 4.
yeah, so is Uncharted 4. I
Yeah.
think if you take away Astrobot out of those like 3 cinematic games, Uncharted 4 is probably the worst of them 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
obviously I haven't played God of War, but I'm taking what you've said that I can understand that.
The story in both God of War games is just unbelievable. That is even though Last of Us done it as well, I think the first God of War game where it's one continuous cut when you go from like
So is
the
it
start
Ragnarok,
into the end.
technically?
Oh no, yeah, but like I know Last of Us sort of feels like that as well, doesn't it? The way it goes through the
feels
game.
like it. Yeah.
But like, yeah, after playing God of War, it was really like you do feel like I've just played a movie.
Yeah,
it's it is
unbelievable.
unbelievable. So I think it has to go up there. Astrobot, after watching gameplay, watching you lot play it, I think the game looks great. It is a great platformer. I think it did ride the waves of the like
Nostalgia.
costume thing a bit higher. Yeah.
I can see that.
And I think if you took that away from the game, would it have scored so highly? And I think no. But it is in the game, so you can't say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, realistically, I'm going to be beaten 2-1 here. So
I'm not decided. I know Stephen has decided. I'm guessing.
No.
Okay.
I'd put Astrobot in B.
The thing for me is that what Astrobot, and not just that, I'm also looking at Astro's Playroom because Astro's Playroom is essentially one of the first games that you'll play to experience the DualSense, and just the fact that it's a celebration of the history of PlayStation. That was actually quite an emotional moment when you got every bot and then you went into that room and all of the consoles throughout the years are on display, and then Astrobot takes the notion of Astro's Playroom, multiplies it by tenfold, and those 2 games alone, I've probably put in like 60 hours, done everything on both of them. They are unbelievably fun, amazing games. Uncharted 4 is just an action set piece blockbuster that kind of takes all of the notions of all 3 of the Uncharted games and puts it together seamlessly. Even though I would say that number 2 is probably the best.
Yeah.
But in terms of the game that is on next gen, that is the most modern, Uncharted 4 knocks that out of the park in that sense. And I remember playing it at a time where I was going through like the worst thing I've ever experienced. So I go back to that game and that was my sanctuary. And what a great game to have in a moment where you really need it. So I've got a lot of love for that as well. So it makes it really difficult to sort of pick. One of them will go in B, but I just don't know which one to pick.
Yeah, I don't know. I love both for very different reasons.
The little fucking robot there. Let's get over.
I love it. I remember that when you was going, how the fuck did that win Game of the Year for 2020? But it's an unbelievable game, and it's one that there's just so much continuous content that I don't think we're going to get much more. But what we have got has been
we've had a lot of content since
incredible.
it released. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to wait another 30 years to be new games so they can make little bots again.
Yeah. I do think individually these 4 games would be my game of the year for their respective years.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember Uncharted 4, 2016. I can't think of anything else better than that.
I would have chose Black Myth for Astrobot's year.
Of course, yeah, you would. Yes,
games.
But God of War came out the same year as Horizon Forbidden West, for example. God of War wins for me. Last of Us came out the same year as GTA 5. I'd still pick Last of Us.
I'd pick, and for 2020, again, Last of Us Part 2 wins Game of the Year, hands down.
Yes.
In terms of when that released. And God of War Ragnarok 20. Oh, you said God of War Ragnarok came out 22.
With
So that was
Horizon,
so you're
Forbidden West. Yeah.
I was about to say, because Horizon 1 came out in 2017. I was like, imagine if they lost both times to God of War in 2018 and 2022, but
No,
it was a year before.
They always launch next to massive games, though, because Horizon 1 launched next to Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is one of the biggest games of all time. And then Forbidden West launched next to Elden Ring, which is one of the biggest games of all time.
So they... And wasn't it also Hogwarts... Oh, that was the following year, wasn't it? 23?
Hogwarts Legacy was 23, yeah.
Yeah, but they're unfortunate that they release games
They've never
at the time
released
where
in a
there's...
good time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So they're probably going to be careful with the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. If we had a vote, Jack's gone Astrobot for B. Stephen?
Oh God, this is really like one of the toughest decisions I've got. I probably would lean more towards Astrobot in B.
There we go. That's decided.
Just
Then you have to give my deciding vote.
What would you, if you had to pick that? What would you pick?
I was going to say the same.
You're gonna say the same.
I love Astrobot, but
Did you just listen to me from the start?
Uncharted just feels like it should be.
I mean, you're talking to like the guy that is like currently playing Resident Evil Requiem with an Astrobot controller.
Yeah.
I've got Astrobot poster in my room. Like I live and breathe Astrobot, but Uncharted is just that genre. All of those games, sort of playing The Last of Us, going backwards. I started with Last of Us from Naughty Dog, and then was thinking nothing's gonna beat that. And then you play all the Uncharted games, you're like, oh my God, this is equally just as brilliant for very different reasons. So I do think that Naughty Dog games for me, in terms of like a PlayStation studio, are like at the very, very top tier. So I don't think you could have a Naughty Dog game and it not be below A as
They're
well.
the only one here with 3 different titles, with Last of Us, Uncharted, and Crash. I think... Oh, mate, we haven't got Spider-Man in here.
Oh.
Yeah, see, like if Spider-Man was in here, that would...
We'll make it... I'm adding it. We're making a late change.
It needs to. We can't not have a Spider-Man game in there.
You even told me it before the episode started.
I do. We did. We started. We started listing loads. See, I think
this is bad news. Right, I'm going to get rid of Days Gone.
Yeah,
Demon Souls doesn't matter. One of those C tiers is now going down to D.
Get rid of Demon Souls because that's probably the least played one out of us 3. You 2 have actually played Returnal, so that's fair enough.
None of us played Days Gone though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair point. Yeah.
I would actually boot out. I'd boot out Days Gone.
Okay, so you get rid, and you're bringing in number 2.
No. Oh, we're gonna have this argument. 2's the best one, right?
My favorite, it probably is the best one. My favorite one was Miles Morales.
I fucking love Miles Morales.
Oh yeah, I love Miles Morales, but that is a smaller like.
Oh, it's still my favorite one out of the 3.
The only thing that diminishes Spider-Man 2 for me, and I'm not going to judge it because it was more so just something that I couldn't control. I had a buggy Spider-Man 2. I've mentioned this before, where Peter Parker would just do nosedives for no apparent reason, and every time I loaded the game, it would then bring up the color contrast. So like Spider-Man would be in blue and then in green. I had to keep turning it off. I don't know what was happening with that. So that did sort of frustrate me. But taking that aside, it is the best out of the 3.
It's my favorite.
But Miles Morales is so good.
All 3 of them are amazing games.
Yeah.
And
obviously I got the benefit. I played the remaster because with Miles Morales you got the download for the PS5 version. So sort of having that as well, I was thinking like, this is incredible. But then I saw PS4 footage. I was like, that equally looks insane. Although we got a much better Peter Parker in the remaster. Didn't look as great in the in the PS4 one.
What game from C comes down to D?
I think. See, it probably should be Crash or Ratchet, but I think Until Dawn or Bloodborne.
No, I don't think Bloodborne. We'll get so many hate messages
Yeah.
Just to put it in C.
I'd only be saying Bloodborne because I've not played it, but that's not fair to knock it down. We've already knocked it down.
I
from
can appreciate
B to
that it's
C.
better than Ratchet and Until Dawn.
Yeah,
And probably Crash.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
think I'm holding like Crash and Ratchet's history too much in my head as well.
I fucking love Ratchet and Clank. I can't let it go.
No, yeah, I know.
To D.
But like I mean like the series as a whole instead of that one singular game.
I would the fact that we got Spider-Man in, I would be happy with Until Dawn going down.
I think
I
that's probably the right answer.
Yeah, but then I would move either Horizon or Astro down.
I agree. Well, no, I would say Horizon or Ghost.
Yeah, Astro's fucking staying in.
So
B.
we're saying Horizon then?
All right, I'd move Horizon down, but then I would probably only because Uncharted 4 probably. I don't know if it's my favorite of the Uncharted.
You'd say number 2.
I would, yeah, I would maybe
number 2 is my favorite.
Move that down to B and
Spider-Man 2 up,
and have them 3 kicking it out for the top 3.
You happy with that, Stephen?
So what? Move Uncharted 4 down to B, and then have Spider-Man, God of War, and Last of Us
as the final 3.
What was number 2? Was number 2 the train one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the train's the opening sequence.
Yeah.
I see.
That's what I would do. I think Spider-Man 2 is unbelievably good, and I know a lot of these games are, but
if I was doing this personally, and it's only because I haven't played it, like God of War for me would be the odd one out, but I can't. We're not going to do that because I know how much everyone loves it and how amazing that game is. But in my personal one, at this current stage, it would be Uncharted, Last of Us, and Spider-Man. Is sort of. I don't like the idea that Uncharted is not in A, but I think for the purpose of this, yeah, I think make it clear it is bordering on A.
It's
like
the B plus. Yeah.
It would have been in there.
Would give it a B plus because I look at Last of Us. In my personal feeling, Last of Us Uncharted are ahead of Spider-Man, but that's just my own personal preference. So if you're both happy with Uncharted being in B, then I'll be the odd one out in that.
If we did rank these in order, as in like the one on the left is the closest one to going up, I think this is a pretty fair order.
Yeah.
Not the bottom one. Fuck off, Days Gone. I think Until Dawn would probably go there. I'd make the case for Infamous or Killzone. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Returnal and Days Gone.
And then Days Gone. Yeah, I think that's fine.
So then, are we saying Spider-Man here, and let these two battle
definitely,
out?
Yeah.
So obviously, Stephen, you're going to say Last of Us to S.
I mean,
it's the one you've played.
I think if I'm being honest, because I'm going to be playing both the God of War games this year at some point. I think even after playing both of those, when we came into this, The Last of Us is my S game. I don't think that there's any game that eclipses that. Not just for part 1, but part 2 as well. I mentioned I'm not even going to go into it because I've bored people to tears. Everyone knows how much I love The Last of Us and how I think it is one of the best games I've ever played. Not just in PlayStation. It is one of the best games I've ever experienced, and just all of the thoughts and feelings that it brings you. It's an absolute masterpiece, and I'm not taking that away from God of War. I just think that The Last of Us is. I think many people regard that as 2 of the best games that you will ever play. And I know that people might say about God of War,
I was going to say, you're going to get the same from the God of War side.
I know. I don't. Maybe it's because I haven't fully experienced it, and if I did, I would be maybe not as head fast on it. But generally, I don't think I'm ever going to play a game, maybe like GTA 6, but like a game that is better than both those Last of Us games. That's how high that benchmark is. God of War may be a surprise, but I can't see it getting to that level.
I would pick God of War, so I'm interested in Jack, because I actually don't know what you would pick. I know you'd love, I assume you'd love both.
Yeah, I do like both franchises. I think after playing both God of Wars, I would put God of War top for me as well. It just, the story, the setting, the characters, I I leaned in way more heavily into that than I did for Last of Us. That's not a slight on Last of Us. I still loved all the characters and the story in that. It's just God of War was just constant hit for me. They never missed anything in that story, and even though that is part one there, isn't it?
No, this is Ragnarok. Oh, Last of Us. Last of Us is part one.
Last of Us.
Yeah,
yeah, Last of Us part one. I think if you compare them as a franchise, the second game was just so hit and miss with the story wise. I think personally, that God of War, I just think, definitely deserves that top spot.
I mean, I'm outvoted. It's 2-1, so that's absolutely fine. The only thing I would say is that the story, I can't see how anyone could think the story of part 2 is a hit and miss. I think it's one of the few games that can have two distinctly different stories and it just works. And more I have this debate of which one I consider to be my favorite. And actually, I do actually probably lean it a bit more towards 2. The more I discuss it, the more my brain goes, Last of Us Part 1 was incredible, but Last of Us Part 2, because it made me feel things that not many games have ever got to that point. Obviously, if you're saying that God of War has a similar thing and everything's a hit, then sure. I feel like you're looking at two games that on any given day you could change your mind on which one you prefer. But to be fair, I know, Welchy, that you with God of War, I was probably not going to expect you to pick anything ahead of that.
I mean, Ragnarok and 2018, I kind of consider as one collective, but if I had to pick, Ragnarok's my favorite game of all time. God of War 2018 second, Last of Us Part 2 third, Last of Us Part 1 fourth.
Fourth,
we're talking about.
You put Part 2 over 1.
Yeah, I'm on Stephen's side on this. I disagree with Stephen when I said not disagree with Stephen, but where you said you can't believe anyone has negative feelings about it. I completely get why people can, but for me, I just don't. I disagree because I think it's like you say, Stephen. It's even though God of War gives me very different feelings to Last of Us. No games ever gave me what Last of Us 2 gave me in terms of that twist and that change of emotion with a character.
It's the more you think about it. I think the negative that I always hear is because of something that happens. But again, I always maintain part 2 only works because of that. And it's deliberate. I think the game, when people go, the story is off, it's because it makes you and forces you to be with someone that you don't want for an extended period of time. But it's very deliberate in doing that. And it was only, you don't necessarily feel that when you're playing. So maybe I can kind of see if you're playing that, people going, I'm spending too long with a set character. I'm walking over eggshells because still, if there's people that haven't experienced it, I don't want to ever spoil that. Or the TV show as well. But I feel like once you finish it and you start thinking about it and talking about it, you then realize what the game's actually done. So it does it in a very subtle way. So I think I'm very, very passionate about Last of Us. So if anyone ever says anything bad about it, I go into like full defense mode. Probably like if someone said to you, "Oh, God of War's really shit," you'll be like, "Sorry, what the fuck are you talking about?" But yeah, I think that's probably all right in terms of where we've got them.
I think so. I mean, Andy also texted in saying God of War Ragnarok is S tier. So you've technically been outnumbered 3-1.
I'm 3-1. And he secretly really hates The Last of Us, is what I feel.
He's not beaten the second one, but he obviously has beat the first one. It is a horror game.
Don't even start on this now.
But I think our list is good. So obviously for any audio listeners, this is what our final list is. In the D tier, we have Until Dawn, Infamous, Killzone 2, Returnal, and Days Gone. In the C tier, we have Bloodborne, Horizon Forbidden West, Ratchet & Clank, and Crash Bandicoot. B tier, Uncharted 4, Astrobot, Ghost of Tsushima. A tier is The Last of Us and Spider-Man 2. And S tier, the very top, is God of War Ragnarok. I think if people were to complain about our list, it would be potentially Horizon and Bloodborne being quite low. But I think when you consider our set rules of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're not saying that they're that low. We're just saying we had to put them there because they can't, there's no room for them above.
No.
And if we did do it like randomly, as in you could have them in as many tiers as you want, I think we'd probably have 2 games in the S tier, being Last of Us and God of War.
Yeah.
We'd have quite a few in the A, probably from Spider-Man to Ghost at least, maybe even Bloodborne and Horizon in there.
Yeah.
Then a load of Bs and maybe like Returnal and Days Gone in the C. So like we're saying that this should be much more top heavy, but we've obviously put it on its head and made it forcefully bottom heavy.
Do you guys think, like on a general level, if you asked 100 people on what the best PlayStation game is, do you think God of War would naturally win that?
It would be so close between Last of Us. If you did it, if you like matched them up. So if someone wrote in saying Last of Us and someone wrote in Last of Us Part 2, if you added those two together, and the same with Ragnarok in 2018, it'd be so goddamn close.
I think Last of Us would probably take it.
It might, yeah.
I think there's more of a global appeal to Last of Us than there is to God of War, even though it only got like a small amount.
Yeah.
But I think Last of Us would probably take it.
But I think they're the top two. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And I also think that with the God of War TV show, that's going to add a whole new realm of popularity for people that will watch the show that probably haven't played it.
Hopefully, that first image they released was not very good.
But in terms of that happened with Last of Us in the TV show hit, and then people went on to this game, and people that weren't even gamers were like, "This is absolutely incredible." So you're right. I think it would be incredibly close. What be interested once I've played both God of War games on whether I then go back and revisit. I just think I've got such a real passionate love for Last of Us that in my head I'm like thinking I'm not going to play many better games than that. But the fact that all three of you are putting God of War higher makes me think that maybe I'm going to start playing and go, this is like the best experience I've ever had. Who knows?
It's mine, and it's just a phenomenal game. But most of these games are in this list.
Yeah.
And if I ever do get a PS3, I will replay Infamous and Killzone 2. And maybe I'll come back and say, no, these are better than Horizon. Maybe not.
Infamous is going S.
Infamous is going back to A tier. Fuck Spider-Man 2.
I mean, if we had my choice, we'd have Little Big Planet at S.
Yeah, there are some games we missed here, obviously.
And Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo and MotorStorm.
Yeah, good points. I mean, at this point, we started this, we didn't have Spider-Man 2 in there or Crash. So we've had to kind of fix it along the way, but we got there in the end.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that is going to do it for tonight's episode of the Late Night Gamer podcast. What did you think of our list? What would you have changed? What games have we forgotten about that we should have added? Let us know in the comments or tag us on socials at the Late Night Pods. We'd love to hear from you, and you can also join our Discord using the link in the description to be able to get your messages in before we record our podcasts. And I've forgotten again. Didn't Biggsy write in with something? Or did he not? He didn't. No, it's okay.
He wrote in on the
movies. Yeah, we're good. I'm in the clear. If you did enjoy this episode, please make sure to follow and subscribe wherever you are listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Speaking of which, next time, I believe, Stephen, is our Resident Evil Requiem full review.
It is.
I've got a lot of work to do to get that done in time. So you won't want to miss that one. You'll get our full thoughts on that game, and hopefully Andy has beaten it as well by then. Obviously, Jack, I know you haven't been playing it. Until then, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I've been your host, Welchy, joined as always by my co-host, Stephen.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure as always, guys. Hope you enjoy our list and don't give us too much hate. But yeah, think good pat on the back. Good work at the end by that.
And Jack.
Thank you again for having me, and I hope I don't get hunted down by any Astrobot fans.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.